Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to SHEM Ministries. That is Souls Honoring Elohim's Mandate. And this is our SHEM 2 night. That is a spiritual, healthy, enlightening mandate ministry. And I am Dr. Anna Shaw Devlin. I am a family nurse practitioner. I have been a registered nurse for over 33 years and a nurse practitioner for 17. I do take the time every now and then to say my credentials because legally you need to know I'm not a medical doctor. I am a nurse practitioner with a doctorate level of education and many years of experience to know what I know and be able to say what I say and share the information that I have for you with confidence. I need you to know that I believe in nothing but evidence-based practice, information, things that have had clinical trials, and I will tell you, have clinical trials to support the statements. And I do say from time to time some things that may be my opinion, my years of experience, what I've seen, witnessed, because you need to know that clinical trials may take 50 years to really give us the information we need. And we have one life to live, and that life, for some people, 30 years, 40, 50, 70, 80, 90, and we dwindle down. Not too many people live beyond 100. And I took the time to say all of that because tonight I want to talk about something that is killing and destroying us. And we cannot wait for all the research or all the, things to come out. We need to move, and we need to move now. We need to intervene. We need to stop playing around. People are dying left and right, and I'm speaking about the opioid oh gosh, it left me that fast. Epidemic, excuse me. I'm speaking about a drug I want to talk about tonight that so many people don't know enough about to think lightly of its use. And so tonight, the Lord again, and I just give up. Lord, whatever you have for me to speak about, let's talk about it, because I thought I was going to speak on something else this week, but the Lord changed it, and he said, I need you to talk about fentanyl. So the subject tonight is fentanyl, and that is F-E-N-T, like fent, A-N-Y-L. Now, fentanyl is a drug that people have been abusing and dying. So tonight, it's fentanyl facts, not fiction. I want you to have the facts on fentanyl so that if someone were to approach you about try this, man, you're going to look, you have never felt before. And these are people who, when a person gets high, there is an elation that they feel. And have I ever been high? Yeah, I have. So I can say to you, but never on anything illicit. I had secondhand contact smoke from people who were smoking marijuana, that what they call the contact high. So I kind of know that feeling. I can't drink, but I have had, a little taste of something, and I know my limit, to the point where it don't take much for me, okay? I think because I have such a natural high that doesn't take much. So I said all of that to say I'm talking about something that kind of touched on a little bit, but not to the point where there are people who seek and search for drugs to give them that feeling that they once had when they used to just smoke a joint. And if you know, or if you remember from school, we were taught that marijuana is what we're talking about, weed, was the gateway drug. It was the drug that would lead you to want other things. And so people started out with marijuana. They may have said, hey, let me try a little cocaine, let me try a little heroin, let me try a little whatever. But what they are seeking, because your body physiologically builds up a tolerance to medicine or to drugs, whether they are legal or illegal. I don't care what you put in your body. Over time, your body builds up a tolerance to that medicine, or that drug no longer has the effect. And if you're not careful, your brain wants that same feeling again. So, that medicine don't help me like it used to. What will the doctor do? He'll double the dose, or he'll tell you you can take it more frequently. Okay, there's a thin line between, well, I'm not saying a thin line, there's a thick line. It's up to the provider to recognize behaviors that are suspicious for a person becoming addicted to a medication. Do you want to know how you know if someone's getting addicted? Take it away. If you take that medication away and they go buck fool, I hate to say fool, but it is a word, it is what it is. They get cray on you, wild-eyed, like they gonna kill you if you don't give them their medicine. So, for the person who does not want to be addicted to medication, when you see yourself physically not able to do without something, that is when you say, let me cut back. Let me wean myself down off of this medication, because what happens, it's kind of like you're climbing the hill. Well, how high am I going to go? Am I scared of heights? You get up to a certain level and you say, okay, wait a minute, this is far enough. I'm going to turn and go back and start going back down. Okay, because it's like, is this going to ever stop? Is it going to keep going up higher and higher and higher? And then you start to wonder and you say, well, maybe I better turn around now before this gets too high and then I have trouble getting back down. That's just a simple analogy. I wanted to take the time and talk about how easy it is. And we can get really in detail about addiction, okay? Use, abuse, addiction, that kind of thing. That's not the topic tonight. The topic is fentanyl. But I needed to introduce how we, our bodies, physiologically handle things. Now, fentanyl. One thing I need you to know about fentanyl, it was also called Duragesic. Now, when it was Duragesic, it was Duragesic patches. People knew after surgery, they may have a patch on me, a Duragesic patch, right? That patch was good for like 72 hours, 3 days. A Duragesic patch is good for 3 days. It's also a fentanyl patch. Now, let's talk about what fentanyl is. But I wanted you to know it originated and became well known for medication used to treat severe pain after surgery. Okay? Then it got to the point where people with chronic pain that years ago there was a pill called Darvocet. Now it had side effects, so they took it off the market. So Tramadol or Ultram kind of replaced Darvocet in a sense, or whatever. Wait, I take that back. There was Darvocet and Tylenol number 3. If you hurt yourself, you would go to the emergency room, you would get Darvocet, or you would get Tylenol number 3, which is codeine. Okay? Then, you know, they got rid of Darvocet, and then they were coming up with these new synthetic drugs. And actually, what I need you to know about fentanyl, it is a synthetic drug. It is man-made in a laboratory. Okay? All right. Not morphine, you know, not made from the poppy leaf, you know, and heroin and, you know, all those things. Okay? And, but it got to the point where people, oh, shoot, Tylenol number 3, that's like taking Tylenol, just plain Tylenol, because there's a tolerance buildup. Anyway, so then we started giving anti-inflammatories, NSAIDs, Toradol, ibuprofen, Motrin, Aleve, those things for pain. Okay, did pretty good. People were like, oh, wow, yeah, that anti-inflammatory, oh, that was the bomb. Okay, well, then they realized NSAIDs, you know, could deteriorate kidney function, could cause GI bleed, gastrointestinal bleeding, this, that, and the other. And then, Tramadol came out. Started giving out Tramadol. Oh, yeah, wonder drug. Oh, yes, I prescribed a lot of Tramadol myself. And that was to keep people from the pain medicine that you need to have on reserve when you had surgery, when you really need pain medicine. And that's what people don't understand, is if you have a tolerance to oxycodone and then you have surgery, well, what's going to help your pain? Because you already have a tolerance to oxycodone. So then they start giving those people stuff like morphine sulfate. Morphine's not good enough. So those people get fentanyl. Okay? That is how fentanyl legally became popular because people who had a tolerance to those other opioids, nothing would take their pain away. And one thing we as healthcare providers would never do is operate on someone, do a surgical procedure, or do an invasive procedure that we know is painful, and not give you something so that you won't suffer with pain. So that is how fentanyl got so widespread. So many people were having to be prescribed fentanyl to control their chronic pain or their severe post-op pain. Yes. Cancer pain. And see, this is the thing that bothers me. Fentanyl is being mishandled and misused to the point where I'm afraid that the medication, the restrictions on the medication will be such that people who have bone cancer, who are suffering with pain, have to endure pain because it's so abused. Now, I need you to marinate on that. I need you to think about that. We have to stop. Let me see. How do I want to say this? It's kind of like, people are an alcoholic and you supply them with liquor, right? We have to be, and I'm speaking as a provider, and actually I'm gonna tell you what happened. The Drug Enforcement Agency, or the DEA, has taken away prescriptive authority, or they have narrowed down prescription authority, where if a person comes to the emergency room, they're only allowed to give no more than 5 days worth of pain medication, depending on what's wrong with you. 5, maybe 7 days. I think it's 5. You know why? Because they give you 5 days to get to your primary care physician or whomever. Because there are people who come to the ER who cannot refuse treatment. Give them something for pain and a prescription to manage their pain, and guess what they do on the way out? They sell it. They sell the narcotic and make money. Percocet, which is oxycodone and Tylenol, is street value $10 to $15 per pill. Okay? That's just one example. So, moving forward with fentanyl, I really need you to just listen to what I have to say. And I'm going to go through, because I'm so passionate about what I am talking about and getting the information out there, that if I don't script myself up tonight, I will never make it through the information I want to present. So, Lord, give me the strength, and please forgive me for not praying. Well, I did pray. I just did not pray on camera. I've been praying all day about this. I have. But for those of you that did not hear me pray, I just need the Lord to touch you all, to hear what I am saying. Take the information that I'm saying and share it with other people. Not necessarily people who have family members on drugs or using drugs, but anybody, because you never know when this epidemic is going to fall in your lap, fall in your neighborhood, fall wherever near your loved ones, your grandchildren at college, or your children here and there. It is so sad that Narcan, postal workers, I mean, anybody that goes from, it's sad that everybody, even people who are learning CPR just to do cardiopulmonary resuscitation in a basic life support class, simple CPR, are having to know about Narcan. Now, those of you who know about Narcan, you will know that it is for opioid overdose reversal. Opioids only. Now, let me tell you about, well, let me just say this without getting too off the subject, because I got to stick with fentanyl tonight. There are synthetic drugs that Narcan does not work for. So do not, and this is a mistake that's out there in the public right now. Narcan is readily available now, okay? And there are people who feel that just because they have Narcan on them, it's safe to do the drug. No, it's not. Because what if the drug or whatever you're doing is laced with more than an opioid? What if it's laced with one of these non-opioid drugs or synthetic drugs that Narcan does not reverse? What are you gonna do then? And I believe that is one of the reasons why people are dying even after getting Narcan. That's one of the reasons. The second reason is that one dose of Narcan is not enough to reverse the amount of opioid that is in what they ingested. So having one dose available is not enough. You need more than one, okay? All right, so fentanyl. It is a very powerful, these are facts now, synthetic lab-made opioid. It is, now we're talking about facts versus fiction. It is not an illicit drug. It's used currently in an illicit manner, but it is not an illicit drug. It is FDA approved. Federal Drug Administration approved fentanyl to treat severe pain related to surgery or complex pain conditions. Complex means difficult to manage. That means a person who, example, like I said, bone cancer, that's metastasized all over their body. Every bone in their body aches. Can you imagine? It's like having a toothache in every aspect of your body. Can you imagine that? They need their fentanyl. Okay? So, what I definitely need you to etch in your brain is the fact of how potent. Now, we know what potency is. Okay? It's not kindergarten. I'm not going that far to break down potency. We know that, or you need to know that fentanyl is 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine. What? Yes. 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine. So a lethal dose is very, very, very small. Now, fentanyl is also used as a sedative. When a person goes to sleep for surgery. Now, for those of you who did not know general anesthesia, they put you deep, deep sleep, put a breathing tube down and breathe for you because you are so deep asleep that you stop breathing, okay? If you didn't know that, bam, you know it now. Fentanyl is one of those drugs that help put you to sleep. So the surgeon can remove your gallbladder. So the surgeon can do a knee replacement or replace your blah, 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 whatever, okay? Without you feeling it. And what they do is, as they're waking you up from surgery, they give you fentanyl if you're not allergic. Or they give you morphine. But guess what is the better drug to give? If it's 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine, why waste your time on morphine? Give them a little bit of fentanyl. So fentanyl is the drug that they give you so that as you're waking up from surgery, you don't hurt. Then you wake up and you're alert. They give you morphine. They give you morphine PCA pump, patient-controlled analgesia. It's that little pump that you press the button and give yourself pain medicine. And you can only give yourself so much pain medication, milligrams per whatever, every 15, 20 minutes with a maximum lockout in 4 hours. Bam. You know, I'm hurting, so I can keep giving myself a dose every 15 minutes. But then once I get my pain under control, or if I don't get my pain under control, it's going to lock out and won't give me no more. Why? Because your diaphragm is a muscle, and if the muscle is paralyzed, you stop breathing. So if you don't have a breathing tube down and you give yourself too much medication, you're going to die. Cannot allow you to kill yourself to be pain-free. Okay? So over time, it has to be spread out. But that is the purpose of fentanyl. Now, I do want to say that for the illicit use of fentanyl, according to the National Institute of Health, okay, because I use reputable sources, most fentanyl is mixed into heroin, cocaine, or counterfeit pills. What are counterfeit pills? They ain't what they're supposed to be. Put a little fentanyl in it and you'll never know. That's why you take that pill and you're used to popping pills. Oh, well, ain't nothing but a pill. I just take a little pill. What is that? Oh, yeah, Percocet. Oh, yeah, I take them all the time. You took a little pill, and it was laced with some fentanyl, and you died. Yep, and you died. And you're like, because we're going to talk about the bioavailability and the pharmacology of fentanyl. So many times, by the time they find you and they do a drug panel or whatever, there may not be much evidence of the fentanyl. There may be only evidence of the metabolites of the fentanyl, what fentanyl breaks down to. So by that time that they discover what you've taken, especially if you've taken something that's laced with a bunch of different things, now you understand why it's so difficult to save your life. Now you understand it's not that we don't have medicine to cause a pharmacological withdrawal of the drug that you overdosed on. It is knowing how much you had, how much to give, and what all have you taken. Okay? So it may be mixed with different things. I did have a question down here about weed, the marijuana stuff, the blunts. Okay? How do you define, man, that was some good weed? How do you define so-and-so over there got some good weed? How do you define good weed? Huh? What is good weed? Weed makes you feel a certain way, right? But what makes it one weed better than the other? Is it how fast you get high? How long your high lasts? So, marijuana is marijuana. If anyone says to you, good weed, it has to have something in it. Okay? There is no way in this world you're going to tell me that a plant or whatever, such as marijuana, gets good based on the water that it grows in or the temperature or the whatever. That, how we have apples that are sweeter than others because this is a Honeycrisp and this is a Red Delicious, or this is those are hybrid apples, right? They were man-made to taste that way. An apple is an apple. And I believe there was only one apple. And then man started messing around, and there was how things pollinate. I think, maybe a few seeds. Somebody ate an apple and spit the seeds over there, and those seeds somehow got mixed up with something else, and oh wow, what is this? A new kind of apple. Okay, all right. So marijuana has to be mixed with something to be good weed. Point made. Now, back to the fentanyl. Because my understanding is, I don't know street stuff, but I suspect that there could be a little bit of fentanyl rolled up. Okay, let's talk about the fentanyl patch. And let me go back and say this. Remember, now it's not scripted, but I do have information to cover, okay? I remember when fentanyl patches were no big deal. Duragesic patches were no big deal. We put them on the patient. They wore the patch for 72 hours. We took them off, threw them in the trash can. Okay. What year was it? It was probably about around 2002, 2003, if I'm not mistaken. All of a sudden, we found out that people were taking those nasty, dirty fentanyl patches that people took off of their skin and selling them. Patients themselves were chewing them. They were cutting them up. Like, take the patches about this big, right? I'd say, yeah, about that big. They would take the patch and cut it up into fours and distribute and share it. So let me tell you this real quick about those patches, because this is what I need you to understand. Okay? I'm going to pull up my little drug thing, because I need you to know that the patches come in multiple strengths. So if someone got a patch, so they're 25 micrograms, 50 micrograms, 30, no, there's 25, there's 15, 25, 37.5, 50, 100, 75, or 75, 100. There's multiple strengths of fentanyl. 100 microgram patches, right? How do you know how many micrograms of fentanyl was in that little piece of patch that you chewed, that somebody gave you? Hey man, you want to get high? Try this right here. Chew this up. Do you know how much fentanyl was in that little patch? No. Because by the time it got, now the patch itself does have a marking on it telling you the dose on it. It has to be. You cannot manufacture anything and not say what's in it. But guess what? That writing, it rubs off. Okay? So it is actually, oh shoot, I was gonna go not to the injection dose. I was going to go to the actual patch and tell you, okay, oh, well, how about, 100 is the max. I think that most of them, they come in. But one of the scariest things I ever had to do was I went to a facility one time, a nursing facility. And there was a little old lady that was getting 200 micrograms of fentanyl patch. And it delivers 200 micrograms an hour. Yeah. Scared the mess out of me, because as small as she was, I was like, oh my God, how are you still breathing? I refused to refill it. I said, you know what? I'm not a drug dealer. I'm sorry that she was on it like that. I gave a one-time dose and told the physician that I was working with, I can't do that. Okay. Now, if it was a cancer patient, different story. But I just couldn't do it, me personally. Okay, let me keep going. All right, sorry. Let me see what I want to tell you next. Oh, this is what I want to talk about. I want to talk about if fentanyl is wrapped up in a joint and they're smoking it. I want to talk about melting points and boiling points. And the fact that when you heat something up, you change the composition of it. Fentanyl was not made to be heated up and smoked. Okay? Boiling point of water is 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? 212 degrees. Guess what the boiling point or the melting point of fentanyl is? 189.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. Guess what fire is? Because when you light something on fire, what temperature are you heating it up to? Well, depends on the flame. If you light something and the flame is red or looks red, do you know that is 900 degrees Celsius, which ends up being 1652 degrees Fahrenheit? If you're toking on that joint that's got fentanyl in it and it's orange, that is 2,192 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, did I not say that the melting point of fentanyl was 189.5? Not 2,192 degrees Fahrenheit. And I said that water boils at 212. So if you're not going to stick your hand in hot boiling water, but you'll light a joint that has a drug in it that is 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine, and you heat, we know that fire is an accelerant. We know that it speeds things up because the same water that boils is the same water that we freeze. So are you trying to say, now remember I said that many things you may hear me say are scientific, many things there's facts, not fiction we're talking about, but some things I'm going to say to you that God gave me, my own revelation of it. So my revelation is, if you heat up something that is potent, you can only make it even more potent. Or take that back, work faster. So if you burn fentanyl, okay, now let me give you some info about bioavailability, the pharmacokinetic data associated with fentanyl. Now, what does all that mean? It means how fast it gets in your bloodstream and how fast it starts to work. Okay, and the action. Guess what the onset of action is? Normal distribution of fentanyl. 5 minutes. Only 5 minutes. So are you saying that if I heat it up, 2 seconds, bing, bam? Do you think maybe that's what makes it good weed? How fast went to my brain. How I feel. And if it's a fentanyl patch that delivers micrograms per hour, so it's automatically designed when it was created to deliver little increments of fentanyl per second. So if I put that fentanyl in that weed and I smoke it and it's already only takes 5 minutes and I put heat to it and it instead of 5 minutes it's 2 seconds to my brain, and then it lasts for a long time because it's designed to deliver little increments over an hour. Now that's my scientific speculation why people are getting so addicted to smoking a joint that's laced with some fentanyl or whatever. Or not just a joint. Do you not crack? Can you not? Let me see. What is crack? Crack is cocaine that's heated up and whatever into a rock. Whatever they do to make crack. So are you telling me that if I put a few drops of fentanyl in there, oh, suka, are you telling me, and this is just based on stuff I see on TV, y'all, trust me, you telling me that heroin or whatever it is that they heat up with the spoon, they take the flame up underneath it and they heat it with a spoon. You telling me that if somebody were to drop a little bit of fentanyl on it or melt some fentanyl and put in it, like that heroin that fentanyl's laced with, the heat, the same scenario I just said to you about the joint, you mean to tell me that that's what's going to make heroin by itself is going to kill you? But if I put just a tad of fentanyl in it, oh. But guess what? Once it's in your system, it's in there. You can't get it out. Why do you think I spent the first 10-15 minutes talking about other drugs and reversing those drugs and what it takes to save your life? Do not be so hung up on getting high that you're willing to put your life on the line like that. This is one drug don't play with. Take something that is easier. If you gotta get high, do something safer. You don't get it. You don't know enough. And you don't have enough. For example, propofol, Michael Jackson. Propofol is an anesthetic drug to put you to sleep. It makes you forget things. They give you propofol so that during surgery, even though you're asleep, right? Hearing is the last thing to go. You sleep, and if you're not deep sleep enough, you'll wake up and hear them sawing on you. But do we want you to remember that? No. So we give you a drug that's going to make you forget it. Come on now. So the doctor who gave Michael propofol, because it's an anesthetic that helps you sleep, he had severe insomnia and couldn't sleep. He gave him too much. Because guess what? You're not an anesthesiologist. And your dumb butt didn't have resuscitative equipment there. If he had only had resuscitative equipment, he could have saved Michael's life. He could have brought him back. Just saying. Now that's a doctor doing that. The people that you're getting high with, are they doctors? Do they have knowledge about what you're getting high with? No, hey man, try this. Hey, girl, you got to try. That's all they know. But the thing that you don't know about them and the thing that you need to know about yourself, your tolerance. We call people who have never had something naive for a reason. What is a naive person? What is a naive person? A person who don't know enough, right? So we use the terminology in medicine as, let me talk about diabetes. Insulin naive. What's insulin naive? That's a person who's never had insulin before. So when a nurse calls me and tells me that the patient's blood sugar is 450, I'm like, wow, okay. First of all, are they symptomatic? Are they still awake? Are they alert? If they passed out, start an IV. Tell me what their respirations are. Put them on some oxygen. And let's give them some insulin, okay? And an IV. Because I want you to pee it out. Okay? But if they're insulin naive, never had any insulin before, I'm going to give them a little bit of insulin. because they ain't never had it before. I don't know how you're going to respond to it. Same thing with drugs. If you have never done drugs before, or you just try this, man, first of all, what you got? What am I trying? How much is it? Where'd you get it from? Okay? I just told you that fentanyl patches come in multiple strengths. Up to 100 micrograms per patch. Little old patch. And they take a needle and they draw the medicine out of it, or they burn. I don't know what they do, but they get the medicine out. But like I said, there are patients that take their patch off. I've had nurses call me and say, I caught Mr. So-and-so chewing his patch. And guess what I had to do? Anytime you see someone taking a drug and using it inappropriately, you have to discontinue it. And then you get side effects from withdrawal from the drug. Okay? So, fentanyl, more facts, not fiction. It is definitely contraindicated in pregnancy. You will kill the baby. Contraindicated. Okay? So if you see a woman who is pregnant, and just try to look out for the baby. Dependence, the liability of becoming dependent is very high. Okay? How is it given? Routes of administration. What are the ways you can give it? Buccal. What is buccal? They're called lollipops. They're medical lollipops that have fentanyl. These are for people who have severe pain that can't swallow a pill, or you put the lollipop, or actually a baby. Children have cancer. They deserve not to be in pain. Give the child a lollipop, which is their pain medication. Epidural into the spinal column. Intramuscular, IM injection into the muscle. Intrathecal. Intrathecal is in the spinal cord itself. IV into the vein, the peripheral vein. Okay? Sublingual, that's up under your tongue. Transdermal, that's the patch on the skin. These are all the routes of administration that this drug comes available to give or can be given. It is definitely a controlled drug. It is considered a Class A1 narcotic. It is a Schedule 1 drug as far as the legal status in Canada, but in the United States, it's a Schedule 2. So guess what that means? I can prescribe it. So nurse practitioners and physician assistants, we do Schedule 2 down. Schedule 1 drugs are for the physician only. And most of the time you have to have special prescriptive credentials, okay? Prescription only. Now, this is what I need you to know. This is the bioavailability, which means the rate of absorption or how much is absorbed. However, the way you give it, I need you to understand this because this is important. Okay? If you ingest it, 33% of the drug will be absorbed. Ingested. Okay? Let's see. Why is my light on? Switch now. Okay. If you put it in your mouth, buccal cavity, only 50% is absorbed. Intranasal, snorted in your nose, 65%. Transdermal on the skin, 92%. IM, intramuscular, 100%. Inhaled, 80%. IV, 100%. Now, the reason I took the time to say that to you, if your dumb butt never had it and you absolutely have to try it, absolutely, which route would be the safest route? Which one? If you ingest it, 33%. If you want to know what it feels like to get high with a little fentanyl, don't snort it. Don't let someone inject it in your muscle. Anyway, actually don't do it at all. Okay? Now, it's metabolized and broken down in your liver. So, if you know you got a bad liver, let me move on. Now, let's talk about elimination. How does your body get rid of it? Now, these are facts, not fiction. How does your body get rid of it? IV, 6 minutes is the half-life. 100% is absorbed. And the half-life is 50% of it is gone out the body. 6 minutes. So within 12 minutes it's gone. That's why it's so safe to use for surgery. That's why it is ideal. And I hate what's happening to drugs. What's going to happen? You need surgery. You're going to have to go back to the old way they used to do surgery. They give you liquor, you pass out drunk, and they chop your leg off. Yep. You're going to have to go back to the old way because people don't know how to act. They don't know how to act. Back in the day, you didn't have to have your doors locked, but I'll be dagged now if you ain't got to have 3-4 locks on your door and a camera and an alarm system to keep people out. We are our worst enemy. But if your doctor prescribes a narcotic for you, do not sell it. You're adding to the problem. Every person who has narcotics in their home, you need to have a safe and have it locked up in a safe. I'm telling you. I have been approached many times by patients who said, my grandson stole my pills. Yep. And want me to give them another prescription. I'm not a drug dealer. I'm so sorry. I might give you a couple of pills so that you won't, but because who's hurting? Who are you hurting? I'm not going to let them suffer. I give them maybe 5 days worth, and that's it. I cannot become a drug dealer. And there are many providers. Well, first of all, I told you, the DEA took it away. When I work, because I am a on-call provider for emergency, whatever, or for, do you know, I cannot prescribe no more than what it takes for that person to make it through the next day. If it's a weekend, I can prescribe enough for the weekend, and that's it. I'm not allowed to give 2 weeks worth of a medication. If the nurse calls me at 5 o'clock in the morning on a weekday, right? And so-and-so's out of their pain medicine. I said, well, in 3 hours, you can get a whole prescription. I can only give you 1 or 2 pills. So it just depends. I may give them, something else that's not a narcotic, an opioid. Now, these are opioids now. These are Schedule 2 drugs. I can give other stuff. But until their doctor can come or their provider can give them a refill. I'm just telling you, it's not always been this way. It's sad. You're going to need something and can't get it. For example, Sudafed, pseudoephedrine. Oh my gosh, my allergies were so bad. Boy, that Sudafed, take one of them, I was good for 2 or 3 days. Didn't have no problem. What happened? Somebody decided that they were going to make methamphetamine and use ephedrine for it. So what happened? It got regulated that you're only allowed to get X amount of pills of Sudafed in a period of time, and your driver's license had to be shown, given, and scanned in for the national databases. Yeah. Okay. All right. Pharmaceutical fentanyl's adverse effects resemble those of other narcotic opioids, including addiction, confusion, respiratory depression, which is extensive and untreated, may lead to respiratory arrest, stop breathing, drowsiness, nausea, visual disturbances, hallucinations, delirium. Okay? And there's so much associated with narcotic delirium. It's different. Analgesia, narcotic ileus, which means your bowel blockage. You get a bowel obstruction from narcotics. It slows your gut down. And your gut folds over on top of each other. And when that happens, you can get death of your GI tract. Your colon can die. And then you end up having to have surgery where they do a colectomy and remove the dead colon and sew it together. Or you may end up with a colostomy and a little stoma where you poop out your stomach. Okay? All right. So let me give you a little bit. Let's keep going. I know I'm over a little bit, but I can't help myself. Plus also, don't mix this stuff with alcohol. Are you serious? Are you not asking for death? Huh? Are you not asking to die? Oh, you start out with a little drink, then a little smoke. Try this. And then when it all hits you, because remember what I said about the half-life of drugs, right? How about this one? I'm sorry. Intranasal. The half-life is 15 to 25 hours. You sniff it, it takes anywhere from 15 to 25 hours to get out your system. I'm sorry, I had to go back and tell you that. Let's see. That's intranasal. Buccal in the mouth. 3.2 to 6.4 hours to get out your system. So you're starting to come down off your little high, right? Ooh, here, take another hit. What you don't understand is you feel yourself coming down a little bit, but the drug is still in there. So you go up again, and then the amount that's still in there, they decide, hey, let's have a party. And the two of them together, bam, you done, stop breathing, dead. You gotta understand half-life of drugs. That's why if the doctor says, do not take this no more than 12 hours apart, trust me, just because it's wearing off, it ain't gone. It is not gone. So the next pill that you take, it's just getting started. 5 minutes, here we go. Like I said, they get together and they put you under. The two of them together, you can't hang. Nope. And I ain't talking about the alcohol either. Not talking about the other stuff in your system. We're not talking about the fact that you haven't eaten, so your stomach absorbs everything. We're not talking about the fact that while you were doing drugs, you haven't drank nothing and your kidneys aren't functioning. We're not talking about the fact that you're not excreting anything that you have ingested in your body. Because guess what I need you to know about fentanyl? Excretion of the drug is mostly urinary. The metabolites, less than 10%, are unchanged drug. Remember when I said that when fentanyl breaks down, it breaks down into metabolites? Okay, less than 10% is the unchanged drug. The rest of it is changed. Okay? And it's mostly in your urine. So if you somewhere passed out high and you ain't drinking nothing and you ain't peeing, oh Jesus. So we're talking facts. I need you to take these facts back to your friends. Take them back to your loved ones. The main thing that I need you to understand is how the drug works, how potent the drug is, how long it's in your body, the absorption of the drug depending on how you use it, and how your body metabolizes it, breaks it down with the liver, and you excrete it mostly in your urine. Yep. And it says here, I'm so sorry. I hate going over, but I got to. Fentanyl continues to fuel an epidemic. Wait. Let me go back. Wait. Sorry. A little bit of history. We already talked about Narcan. And I already told you because fentanyl is so potent, multiple doses might be necessary. Okay? Fentanyl was first synthetic by Paul Janssen, Janssen, in 1959 and was approved for medical use in the United States in 1968. In 2015, 1,600 kilograms, 3,500 pounds were used in healthcare globally. As of 2017, it was the most widely used synthetic opioid in medicine. I already explained to you why. 2019, it was the 278th most commonly prescribed medication in the United States because people were tolerant to all the other medicines and had no choice. With more than 1 million prescriptions, it is on the World Health Organization's list of essential medicines. Fentanyl continues to fuel an epidemic of synthetic opioid drug overdose deaths in the United States. While prescription opioid deaths remain stable from 2011 to 2021, it was stable? Really? Let's fix this here. Oh, the battery's low. Okay. How about unplug this and plug that in for me, please? I got a helper. Yay! Fentanyl, let's see. It was stable for 10 years from 2011 to 2021. Synthetic opioid deaths increased from 2,600 overdose deaths per year to 76,238 per year. Wow. Since 2018, fentanyl and its analogs have been responsible for most drug overdose deaths in the United States. That's why we're talking fentanyl. That is why we're talking about fentanyl. Causing over 71,238 deaths in 2021. Wow. Because nobody understands the facts about fentanyl. Fentanyl constitutes the majority of all drug overdose deaths in the United States since it overtook heroin in 2018. I need you all to share this information. And I usually don't say, hey, tell everybody about my video. But tonight, this is broadcasting on Facebook and it's broadcasting on YouTube under SHEM Ministries. Word of mouth. How did we know that Creed 3 was a good movie? Word of mouth. Did you see that movie? Oh, that was a good movie. Next thing I knew, everybody's, word of mouth. That new, whatever at such and such a restaurant is so good. My husband loves the, Wendy's. I forgot the name of it. It's the little ice cream thing. Frosty. Strawberry Frosty. Limited availability. But everybody, they got the Strawberry Frosty back at Wendy's. Here we go. Share this video. Please. Fentanyl overtook heroin in 2018. Oh my God, really? The United States National Forensic Laboratory, now you know forensic science, when people die, estimates fentanyl reports by federal, state, and local forensic laboratories increased from 4,697 reports in 2014 to 117,045 reports in 2020. Fentanyl is often mixed, cut, or ingested alongside other drugs, including cocaine and heroin. Fentanyl has been reported in pill form, including pills that mimic pharmaceutical drugs such as oxycodone. So, okay. You go buy a pill that someone makes you think is a Percocet. You got chronic pain. Oh, I can get you some Percocets. You can? Yeah. Well, why your Percocets cost so much more than so-and-so? Well, because they are, what did I tell you about? Good weed. They are the best Percocets ever. Something is fishy, you better run. Something wrong with them Percocets. They ain't Percocets. Okay? So if this fentanyl can mimic be a pill and mimic oxycodone, you think that you're getting oxycodone, but you're really getting something that's 10 times as potent as morphine. Now you do know oxycodone is here, morphine is here, right? And fentanyl is here, okay? Do you know that China, a little birdie gave me some good advice. China is the leading manufacturer of fentanyl. Woo! Kill all the Americans. Don't kill us all, because then who gonna buy all your stuff? Okay, mixing with other drugs and disguised as pharmaceuticals makes it difficult to determine the correct treatment in case of an overdose, resulting in more deaths. And I explained that to you. Its ease of manufacture and high potency makes it easier to produce and smuggle, resulting in fentanyl replacing other abused narcotics and becoming more widely used. Okay, I already told you that it's used in anesthesia, it's used regional anesthesia, obstetrics, all of that. I know you can't see this right here, or maybe you can. No, it's got too much of a glare. Yes, you can. Comes as a nasal spray too. Okay. And I already told you about the bioavailability in children. See, remember now, in children, intranasal fentanyl is used for the treatment of moderate to severe pain and is well tolerated. We can't let the baby suffer because adults are stupid. Yeah, I said it. Yep. Furthermore, 2017 study suggested the efficacy of fentanyl lozenges in children as young as 5, weighing as little as 13 kilograms. The poor little babies that weigh 13 kilos. It's 2.2 pounds per kilo. Okay? Lozenges are more inclined to be used as the child is in control of sufficient dosage, in contrast to buccal tablets. Chronic pain, breakthrough pain, all of that. We talked about the palliative for, people who are dying. Now, here's one thing I gotta say. People with kidney disease, they're living because they got dialysis. Yes, they can stay alive, but guess what? What did I just tell you about how fentanyl is excreted? Urinary. So many people who are on dialysis, renal failure, oh my God, please don't give them no fentanyl. They can't get rid of it if they don't make urine, and if they do, their kidneys don't filter well. It's contraindicated. Moderate to severe kidney failure. You're going to kill them dead. Here's another proof in the pudding about heating up fentanyl. When using a transdermal patch, the patch that goes on your skin, patients must be careful to minimize or avoid external heat. Now, remember I told you, I said that the Lord gave, the whatever, that was my science, my whatever. Here go the proof in the pudding. I ain't gonna lie to you and tell you I read this article, because I didn't. But here's the proof in the pudding. It says that you have to avoid external heat because direct sunlight, heating pads, etc., can trigger the release and absorption of too much medication and cause potentially deadly complications. There we go. Woo! All right, you guys. I think I've said enough. I pray that the Lord will bless you to take this information and do additional research. Take this information and share it. Take this information and let it just be an eye-opener. You gotta understand why the statement about heroin and fentanyl superseding. Are you serious? I didn't realize. I knew it was up there, but I did not know that it replaced. I knew people were using more fentanyl, but I did not know about the number of deaths. Okay? And if the Lord says so, we may talk a little bit more about this later, because you know what? Side effects. I do need to talk to you a little bit more about side effects. So we may, if the Lord doesn't change it, I may talk to you a little bit more about fentanyl on next week. All right. Thank each and every one of you for listening to me, Dr. Anna Shaw Devlin. Fentanyl facts, not fiction. These are facts about the drug. Okay? Stay safe. Help others stay safe. Don't do it. Don't do it. To God be the glory. All right. Have a blessed week. Pastor Devlin on Sunday will deliver the word. And I won't be back on Sunday, which will be Father's Day. I do pray that each and every one of you that have fathered a child or have been just a father figure in a child's life have a blessed Father's Day. All right. God bless you.